and a very welcome to the Aquarian TV. I am Liam Jarrett at your service. Let us go. Let us go. Let us go. They don't want you to start your own stuff. They will stick you in the mud. But truth must prevail. Didn't rhyme that well, but you just gotta start these things off with a little music. What are we doing with Aquarian? That's my Aquarian ceremony playlist on Spotify, if you want to check that out. Now, today we are talking about Aquarian. What does it mean? And Aquarianism. Even though I'm tired of them isms or them schisms. Am I right to my reggae fans out there? Okay, maybe not. Well, after we do that, go through some of the characteristics and definition of it. Then we're going to talk about what I'm doing as my own individual unique expression of Aquarianism as All Souls Temple. And what that's going to look like going forward. We're making some exciting changes, a little bit of rebranding. Because at the Aquarian.tv, I want that to be a place where I host other people doing Aquarian type stuff besides me. What is Aquarianism? It's many things. Sometimes it's almost easier to talk about it just in negation. It is not hierarchical. It is not authoritarian. Rather, egalitarian. And why? Because mainly above all, Aquarianism is humanitarian. With the human being the center, the measure. And I could already hear, you're making a religion out of making man as God. Aquarianism is stepping into your full humanitarianism. And that each one deserves to be respected and treated as such without harm being done to that. So, the revolutionary aspect of Aquarianism, how it's reforming all religions that do not respect humanitarianism, humanity's inherent dignity as being and human. So, if a religious organization has an ideology that teaches that its people are somehow more special, chosen, saved, then they are more of a human being because they have more or more divine. Aquarianism is anti-clericalism. Clericalism being the elevation of a priest to being somehow more holy or sacred or in touch with the divine. Aquarianism is against guruism, but also it is stretching out humanitarianism, learning from traditions in the East and to other parts of the world. Thanks to the advent of our communications and technology and the way that we can gather information and share it, has leapt us leaps and bounds into the age of Aquarius. You do not have to believe in astrology to partake in this philosophy ideology. A big part of it is that lots of these myths and these religious stories that we had, their narratives are borrowed from others and then replace themselves into it. Kitty, can you just chill out for a little bit? She's in all black. So what I'm doing is a religious reformation inside of the environment I came out of, which is Christian Catholic. And showing the metaphysical, esoteric occurrences, phenomena in my Western religion, the Abrahamic faith, shoot off of Christianity. And when we learn the esoteric, metaphysical meanings of these scriptures, lots of them astral myth, and it's as above, so below motif, that we're in a body within a body. It's syncretic in that in comparing and contrasting the Western religions with Eastern religions, we are able to pick out some similarities that help to explain a lot of these religious myths as well. By way of astral mythology, the 7 visible heavenly luminaries from the moon out to Saturn, the sun being a big part of that, the movement of our seasons, and we have our holidays set up accordingly, and also that in relation to our chakral system, which is in relation to sex, magic, if you want to pervert it like Aleister freaking Crowley. So you could take this occult knowledge and do messed up stuff with it, which I argue perhaps in the elite circles that just might be the freaking case. And then they come up with some QAnon sign up to sweep down and steer that in another direction. Easy. So Aquarianism is, say you come up in a Muslim faith, even the Buddhists and the Hindus, where would Aquarianism, what might a reformation of that be? If they're set up as some caste system where the emperor is the mouthpiece of God on earth and somehow higher above, any idea of royalty gets washed away with the waters of Aquarian. And what I'm doing as an expression of Aquarianism is All Souls Temple. All Souls, because I'm trying to reach out to, it's all-inclusive. It's not us are saved and going to heaven and the rest of the world has to get burnt up and plagues drop down on them and a Magog war and this great Armageddon event. Aquarianism is hopefully can be used to get us out of those self-fulfilling prophecies. Aquarianism is taking a reasonable, rational critique historically to these religious faiths and traditions, thanks to the help of archaeology, and then sharing this information, we can reapproach religion. Some just say get rid of it altogether, but religion can serve for community, nourishing community, creating meaningful relationships, inspiring charity, virtuosity, and religiosity may be something inherent in the human makeup. Because there's other elements in society such as sports team adherence, identity politics, the whole royalty of whatnots. These are expressions of religion, of that social construct being a part of the human experience. And oftentimes, when that is wiped out, the government comes in, and sometimes religion is used as a primer just to um, keep the authority in place by giving them some divine right to rule, authority. Total BS. So we've taken the esoteric meanings out of, namely, the Judeo-Christian scriptures, the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Hebrew scriptures, the Christian scriptures, and sees it for what it is. Allegory, metaphor, pushed in propaganda, written by a certain people in a certain time, with many other influences involved for a certain purpose. This was put into place. Aquarianism, it's going to be uncomfortable for many. It's imagine hearing that I went trained to be a Catholic priest. Imagine being in the Catholic priesthood for 10, 20 years, 30, and hearing that the Jesus character is not historically real, fictional, and it was set up, and if not set up, it was definitely used to conquer foreign nations, to get them to worship a foreign god, with the church as the muscle for the people of the Bible or the book. The whole arguments over the Holy Land and the Crusades. Why is it holy? Why does it need to be in control of Rome or whatnot? Because that's the birthplace of Jesus. Well, we realize that's not historically true. And I know it's a little bit scary for those who have kept this faith in a historical Jesus, but this is ultimately freeing. When I was young, I could eat but not solid food. You'll see St. Paul for the huckster that he was. It is liberating. Yes, I could stop living with this unwarranted guilt complex. I could do good for the sake of good. I don't have to be bribed into eating my vegetables because I'm not going to get dessert. Release the fear of death. Religion really uses the fear of death to control us. Imagine how liberating that might feel. And I'm not always there myself, but let us try to support each other to break out of the chains of fear that are cast upon us daily, if not by religion, by the freaking news channels. Woo! I get the Holy Ghost coming through my veins. Kitty, can you feel me? Don't look at me like that, little kitty. So, I'm going to do my ceremonies and rituals and based around astrology as All Souls Temple to put out a model on how to do Aquarianism from my creative imagination, matching together with what I've learned through the esoteric syncretic meanings of mainly the Judeo-Christian scriptures and all the other religious stories and stuff that went into the pagan ones. The Hebrew scriptures are... Judaism is paganism. And it's probably not your ancestral stories. It sure as hell isn't mine. I got Celtic, Germanic, Scandinavian. What the fuck do I care about this place in the fucking desert? Oh, I said I wasn't gonna curse on here. You can understand You get hyped up. I mean, yeah, so that priest who's done this for 20, 30 years, what is he going to do? Abandon his whole flock? Not Aquarianism. We don't have fucking pastors who's on a pastoral mission to gather in his flock of sheep for the sacrifice at the altar. We are getting out of the blood. If we have any sacrament, let it be a baptism in the washing away of the blood of this God of the fucking Bible, people. Wash away the blood of Jesus. Get that shit off of me, that fucking scapegoat ritual of the freaking Hebrew people. So that God might be tricked to look over the sins of them after they casted their sins upon a goat. That goat being symbolized by Jesus. The body that you take a part in. So magically, in the blood sacrifice energy realm, the sins of the Israelites are constantly being put on the freaking Christians who participate in the communion Eucharistic meal. As a peace offering to Satan, who they created is Saturn, the dark energy of Saturn, who dishes out karma, who gives you what you deserve, who's exalted in Libra at the scales of judgment. Just examples of the astrotheology behind these religions. So, what All Souls Temple does, it's replacing the sacrifice of the Mass with water. We're not into sacrificing animals to a god or people or a mock way of doing it. The story of Jesus being dressed up as a king and then being killed is also reference to a pagan ritual of one day out of the year they would dress up a slave as a king and then fucking sacrifice him. Holy shit. Oh no, your ancestors were practicing human sacrifice, which was probably just hyped up accounts. You're not going to praise the religion of the people that you go in and are trying to conquer, obviously. Propagandize it. So a big part of this religious reformation is revivifying our ancestral traditions that have been wiped out through the Abrahamic fuckery. I'm not apologizing for cursing anymore. So, but let me also calm down. So, this is just an update on what I'm doing, I guess. If you want to check out allsoulstemple.com or .org, that is where All Souls is going to be expressing Aquarianism. I'm still working this stuff out, but go in peace. Reese's Pieces.